Hello, I am Professor Kino, and welcome to my Office of Cinematic Antiquity. Today I will be continuing my series Second Look Celluloid, where I look at films that I believe were either overlooked or harshly judged at their time of release. Today's film is... The past few years have been chock full of great thrillers and horror. Get Out, It Comes at Night, A Quiet Place, Hereditary, and Annihilation, just to name a few. I'd even go so far as to say we have finally entered a new golden age for these genres. However, because there are so many good films that have been coming out, there are plenty more that fly under the radar, particularly when it comes to indie films, and 2018's The Endless is just one of those films. Premiering at 2017's Tribeca Film Festival in New York, The Endless was met with rave reviews, and between that time and its official release in April of this year, it managed to secure a solid 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus being that it is a smart, competently made, low-budget indie thriller. Additionally, having this be the duo directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead's third well-received film in the past few years, it seemed like The Endless might just be their big break. However, it being a low-budget indie film, it was not able to open nationwide, only 20 theaters at its peak runtime. And through these 20 theaters, The Endless only grossed about $272,000. In other words, not many people, myself included, got to see it when it was receiving its initial buzz. However, I was finally able to see it a few days ago, and the following is what I thought about it. Premise. Two brothers return to a UFO death cult that they escaped from 10 years earlier in order to tie up loose ends, answer questions, and find closure. Writing. The story itself has a mix of clear influences, from David Lynch to Stephen King to H.P. Lovecraft. But despite this, the whole film is unique in its own right. While the first act, where the brothers argue and eventually decide to go back to the cult, is a little on the slow side, once our two protagonists hit the road to go to the cult, the story picks up speed and becomes a string of inexplicable and intriguing events. At the movie's core, and carrying the whole film, are the two brothers, so a lot is riding on the writing of them, and the film does a solid job at setting up their relationship with each other. The older of the two, Justin, is very skeptical of the cult, and it is obvious that he is uncomfortable being there, while the younger one, Aaron, is willing to overlook the weirdness to find a place where he can fit in and call home. And this difference plays a central role in the film and pushes it forward. And wrapped around this is a plethora of sci-fi ideas, from time travel to elder gods to aliens to pocket dimensions, and while the film is not always great at explaining the exact rules and meanings of all its sci-fi mechanics, the usage of them helps to drive home the film's inner themes of family, brotherly bonding, and moving on. Is it ambitious? Definitely. Does it always work? Not 100% of the time, but boy does it come pretty darn close. Now, shifting gears from the thematic side to the more technical side, the writing is generally very solid. Nothing ever feels awkward, and a lot of the dialogue feels very natural and real, as though the characters are real people, and this helps to make the film feel grounded in reality despite its crazy sci-fi inclusions. And this all brings me to the horror aspect of the film. Horror itself is a difficult genre to define and describe because what is scary really depends on the person. While a lot of people today particularly measure horror films on the amount of times they get jump scared, there is plenty of other horror that doesn't make you jump at all, but instead makes you start to question the stuff around you, and The Endless definitely falls into the latter category. I never found myself jumping out of my seat, but there are definitely some scary moments that are assisted tenfold by the whole film feeling grounded in reality, i.e. they feel less like moments crafted specifically for a horror experience, and more like moments pulled straight from reality and put onto screen. It won't be for everyone, but I definitely appreciated it. Acting. While I wouldn't say that any of the acting is particularly jaw-dropping, this is actually to the film's benefit. Everyone's acting makes them feel like real people, and this helps to ground the whole film. And as for the two main characters, they fall right into this description. The two directors take on these roles, with Aaron Moorhead playing Aaron and Justin Benson playing Justin. Each of them captures the inner workings of their character, and they both do a good job to help keep the story moving forward.
Uniforms. Redefining words. Calling death ascension. Worshipping a deity in the forest that no one else knows about. And castration.
Okay, yeah, that's a cult. But I actually don't remember any of those things. I just remember, like,
bonfires and family time and good food and
Costumes, hair, and makeup. Nothing crazy, just ordinary clothes that make everyone look like real people. Consequently, it fits with the rest of the film. Set design. Very real feeling. While I wouldn't say it's fantastic, the sets did what they needed and made sense. Nothing ever felt artificial, and it all gelled with the acting and writing very naturally. Choreography. There aren't any fight scenes or dance numbers, so nothing to say. Cinematography. First and foremost, a lot of this film feels amateur, from slight shaky cam to shots that feel just a little out of focus. Amidst this, however, are some beautiful and professional shots as well that are stunning. Now, I'm not sure if this shift between amateur and artistic was intentional, but it was definitely noticeable, and it did take me out of the film initially because the juxtaposition between the two styles doesn't mesh perfectly. That being said, the cinematography is never bad, it just shifts between charmingly amateur and gorgeously professional. Editing. Competent, albeit a little amateur. Nothing feels out of place or spliced awkwardly. It all works together and everything makes sense. Nothing much more to say. CGI. The CGI in this film is used very sparingly, and this is to the film's benefit because of its budget. Sometimes budget filmmakers are clueless when it comes to how to use CGI successfully. When having a low budget, using too much CGI can make it all look unrealistic, and that can really ruin the film as a whole. Moorhead and Benson understood this and only used CGI when they couldn't showcase what they wanted to any other way, and this works for two reasons. One, when it does come on, it actually looks quite nice. Not perfect, but not bad either. And two, it helps to build the suspense and mystery of the film because you never really get a good look at the supernatural, something that really helps to push the whole film forward. Music. This is very extraterrestrial feeling. It is slow, deep, and electronic. If I had to compare it to other soundtracks, they would be Donnie Darko's and Sicarios, and this is a high compliment. The music really helped to set the mood and feeling for the film, and I thought it was fantastic. Direction. Moorhead and Benson crafted a unique sci-fi mind-bending thriller that is equal parts strange, inexplicable, horrific, and grounded. And the way that the directors walk this line between wacky and real is very commendable. And this achievement all stems from the humanity of the characters, the amateur style of the filmmaking, and the soul of the film in general. While Moorhead and Benson did not craft a perfect film, they definitely made one that they should be proud of. My enjoyment. While it did take me a little time to get into it, I found myself getting pretty engrossed in the Endless. Not only was it refreshingly creepy, there were also a lot of interesting and unique ideas that were being presented over the film's runtime. While I wouldn't necessarily say that I loved it, I had a good time and came out the other side really interested in seeing Moorhead and Benson's other work, especially since I have learned after watching The Endless that this film is an expansion on the ideas of their 2012 film Resolution. I definitely feel that we need to keep an eye on these two directors because I see even more great things in their future careers. Recommendations. If you are a Lovecraft, Lynch, or King fan, check this one out. It is an intelligent, creepy indie thriller that has charm and mystery. Not only is this film unique, it is also very well crafted for being so low budget. That being said, if you go into this film looking for a scare your socks off horror film, look the other way. While it is creepy, it is not terrifying. Also, if you're not a fan of indie films, i.e. you don't really like low-budget feel in film, this film is also not for you. That being said, I encourage everyone to keep an eye on Moorhead and Benson because they are destined for some great things in the future. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I'm Professor Kino, and I look forward to our next discussion.